Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. I thought today we could talk a little bit about the Electoral College and put how many votes each state gets on this map. And my plan is to be completely non-political. This is just like educational. So if you feel the need to, tell me your thoughts about politics, I don't want to hear it. Nobody else does either. We just do this for fun and relaxation. So when you cast your vote in the United States, and I believe we're the only democracy in the world that doesn't use a popular vote system, we use, and I started to do a lot of research on this, and I'm just not going to go into all the details of our system because the history, it's messy, and I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. Maybe in a later date. But what we use is called the Electoral College. So when you cast a vote, you are casting a vote for an elector, and then they cast the vote for president. I know. So on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, you cast your vote for president. But on the first Monday following the second Wednesday in December, the Electoral College votes. So they take your vote and they cast it for you, basically. And there's a long history to why, and I encourage you to seek that out and look it up and try to understand it. Maybe someday I'll try to do a video on all that. But basically, for each state, you get, the way they figure out the number of votes that you get 2 for each senator, which is how many senators each state has. And then you get the number of representatives you have in the House. So depending on, and I did a video, I'll try to link it here if I can remember, about how many House members there are and senators there are for each state and all about that. But depending on the population of the state is how many representatives are. And that can change depending on population gains and losses. So for the year 2024, we have a new electoral college map than we've had in 2020. So that's kind of the beginning basics. Maybe before we do this, we should just take 1 second to look up the Electoral College in my book of cultural literacy and just see what they say, if it's anything different than I have. I'm not an expert on history, government, anything. But together we can try to solve it. And if I encourage you to go and seek out information and don't get all your information from me. But I'll try. Sometimes, in the late night programs, they'll ask people questions in the street, and it's sort of like, oh, haha, they don't know anything about the American government. But there's a lot of stuff, when they ask them, I don't know. I don't know the answer. So we're just trying to figure that out. Okay, Electoral College, page 326. 26. Okay. Electoral College, the presidential electors who meet after the citizens vote for president and cast ballots for the president and vice president. Each state is granted the same number of electors as it has senators and representatives combined. These electors, rather than the public, actually elect the president and the vice president. The founding fathers assumed that electors would exercise discretion and not necessarily be bound by the popular vote, but the rise of political parties undermined this assumption. Electors are now pledged in advance to vote for the candidate of their party, and nearly always do. Thus, the vote of the Electoral College is largely a formality. There have been several attempts to abolish the Electoral College. Yeah, I read that over 60% of the country, wants to abolish it. And there have been, in 1919 and in 1969, there were votes. I think that even passed the House to abolish it. But it was not. Oh, I was just thinking, okay. While I was looking all this up, there was a part about gerrymandering, and I was thinking about this. I was like, oh, there's that map that looks like a dragon. Actually, real quick, I want to show you something I thought was interesting. So this is about gerrymandering, and it says to change the boundaries of a legislative district to favor one party over another. Typically, the dominant party in a state legislature, this is an old book, by the way, which is responsible for drawing the boundaries of congressional districts, will try to concentrate the opposing party's strength in as few districts as possible, while giving itself likely majorities in as many districts as possible. I gotta show you guys something, because I don't know, you guys all knew this probably, but I was, let's see, hold on, let me think how I can do it. I have to get my colored markers out real quick before we do this map. If you want to skip ahead, feel free, but I just wanted to show you this, I know what I can use. Hold on. Grab my poker chips here. I saw this map and I was like, that's the best representation I've ever seen. Oh, I wish I had colors other than red and blue. Because white won't show up. Oh well. All right. Okay, 1, 3, 4, 5. Let's just do this real quick just because I thought it was interesting. If I can even do it, if I can remember. I was going to show my son, so I kind of think I got it here. Okay. Whoops. Okay. So, assuming these are districts, or voters, I guess, in your district, right? Okay. So here are the people voting. And so you have 25 voters. 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. You have 10. Okay, anyway, let's say that you... I don't know how to do the math on that. All right, so 40% of our voters are blue. And 60% are red. Okay. So if you cut it, if you make your districts, because they have different districts within the state. And so those districts will go towards that House member runs that district. So that, not House member, but an elector will vote. No, I guess it's the House. Sorry. It's that you're voting for members of the House, right? Oh, I should have looked up more about gerrymandering. I may have to stop this video. But anyway, all right, let's say you're voting for members of the House because you vote for your house within your district, right? Yeah. Okay. So it should be 40% blue, 60% red. But if you cut it going this way, boom, 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 then you have 40% blue, or 20% blue, 30% red, whatever. Anyway, this is terrible. I'm doing a terrible job. But basically, if you cut it this way, then yeah, you have that. If you cut it this way, going this way, then red wins that one, red gets that one, red gets that one, red gets that one. So that would be totally unfair. Well, I mean, it would be the red getting the majority in each one, right? Instead of like they're getting their portion. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this. I swear I looked at it. Okay, but if they cut it like they do with gerrymandering, they take a district and they say, we want to make sure we win more than what we should, basically, right? So they'd go like, okay, we will cut this district so that, let me see if I can do this. All right, so we've won this one. And then we've won this one. So now blue has 2. It's like a magic trick. And then red's won this one. So now it's 2-1. And then cut it there. So now it's 2 to blue has this one, blue has this one, and blue has this one. So now blue has gotten 3 and red only has 1, 2, even though red has a greater proportion of the votes. And that is gerrymandering. So they cut the districts up to make sure they get the votes or the House members or whatever. Isn't that kind of interesting? It's like a magic trick. I don't think I explained it very well. Go look it up. It's interesting. But yeah. So now even though red has 60% of the chips, they've only got 1, 2 of these. And blue got 1, 2, 3. There are lots of maps like this out there, but this one I could visualize. I have to see things sometimes, All right, anyway, whatever. Next. Back to our map. I should have understood that more before I brought it to you. But see, it makes a difference because if that chooses your House members, well, then that also chooses your electors, right? I don't know, maybe I'm not right about that. Sorry for not doing my homework more. Okay. Boom. Either way, that's gerrymandering. Kind of interesting. Just put this away. Okay. All right, so here's our map. And there are certain states that in 2024 actually picked up or lost, I think, votes, or electoral college, votes, I guess they're votes, electoral votes. So, but they're nominated by the state party, and they can't be senators or representatives. Yeah. All right. So hold on, I have a note here with some. So previously, Washington State had 12 in 2020, and it still has 12. Oregon had 7 in 2020, but now it has 8. California had 55, but I think it now has 54. Nevada, 6, and it had 6 before. Montana had 3, and now it has 4. And my understanding of the Electoral College is that even though it's based on population, it's still like you can look at all these maps. There's a lot of information about it, but certain states like Vermont that are smaller, their votes are weighted more than like a state like Texas, which is a very big state. And a lot of these southern states get way more weight, I believe. I don't know, there were maps, but I didn't really double check. Okay, Idaho has 4. Utah has 6. Arizona, 11. Alaska has 3. And Hawaii has 4. Okay, guys, what state is that? Wyoming has 3. Colorado had 9 in 2020, but now for this election of 10. New Mexico, 5. The state of Texas has had a lot of people move there, I believe, and it used to have 38 electoral votes, but now it has 40 electoral votes. North Dakota has 3, and South Dakota has 3. Nebraska has 5. I have not memorized this. I do have notes. Kansas had 6 and still has 6. Oklahoma, OKLAHN, has 7. Okay, Minnesota had 10 and still has 10. And Wisconsin also has 10. Iowa has 6. Just, by the way, there are 538 total electoral votes. And in order to win the presidency, and what, like, you know how they always have that board on election night where they're like, ding, 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 ding. They're trying to get to what the, like, magic number is 270 to win. So, but a lot of states, just the way this works, the way the Electoral College works, they can't divide, they don't divide the vote. It goes, so like even if it's 60-40 in a state, the whole state goes to, you know, one party or the other. So that's why they always talk about red and blue states. With the exception of Maine and I think Nebraska, they have district voting, but all the other states are winner takes all. So that's why there are a lot of states that they're like, this is a red state. They don't even really do advertising in that state because they know it's so red or so blue that it doesn't, you know, so there are only a few states that make a difference, which that's why people want to get rid of the Electoral College, because a lot of times it comes down to very few votes. I believe. Anyway, okay. Let's go on. Illinois has, okay, hold on a minute. Illinois had 20, but now it has 19. And where are we? Missouri has 10. Arkansas had and has 6. And Louisiana has 8. Mississippi has 6. I'm wearing a down vest. That's how chilly it is in my house. I refuse to turn the heat on. Okay. But that's why you're hearing that kind of sound. Alabama has 9 and had 9. Georgia has 16. Florida had 29, but now has 30. South Carolina has 9. And North Carolina had 15, but now has 16. Tennessee has 11. You know, also, though, if you live in a state that always goes one way or another, and you're like, there's no point in me voting, go vote anyway, because you're voting for your smaller, your house, and sometimes there are actually issues on the ballot, so you can look it up beforehand, like go to your state's website and look at what will be on the ballot and kind of research so you know before you go, because it can be a little nerve-wracking when you go in there and you're in front of that thing, you're like, ugh. So I always like map it out beforehand. If you go to your library, a lot of times they'll have what do you call, like, non-partisan with facts about everything that'll be on the ballot. You can ask, they'll help you. But yeah, it can make a difference. And if sometimes states change over time, and if people think, oh, my vote doesn't count, and don't go vote, then they don't know, that the states, like, there are a lot of states. Florida used to be a state that changed all the time, but I think now it doesn't so much. And what else? Idaho. I don't know. I don't know all this, but there used to be other states that would flip flop, but now they're. So you never know. Okay, where are we? What is this guy here? Virginia. Okay, Virginia has 13. West Virginia had 5, but now it has 4. Kentucky has 8. And let's see what that Maryland has 10. It still has 10. Oh, are we going to write these? They're so small. 10. Oh boy. Okay. DC. Okay. Where exactly do we point to that? It's like in here somewhere. Right there. Okay. DC. It had 3 and now has 3. But I think this is one of those where the population's bigger. I don't know. There's something about it. See what I'm talking about? I don't know stuff. Okay, New Jersey. Anyway, we'll just do New Jersey. Had 14 and still has 14. Where is this? New Jersey? I don't know. Wait a minute. Is that? Okay. That's right. So this is, oh shit, shoot. This is Delaware. Getting sloppy. Okay, Delaware has 3. Connecticut, which is here. This is this guy right here. Boy. Has 7. This is getting sloppy. Rhode Island has, I'll do Rhode Island, has 4 and had 4. Okay, Massachusetts has 11. No change. Oh boy. Okay, Maine has 4. And like I said, they're a state where they have districts. So their electors can go different ways, which I think is kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't know. All right, New Hampshire has 4. And Vermont has 3. Okay. Whew. All right, New York had 29, but now has 28. Yeah. Pennsylvania had 20, but now has 19. Ohio had 18, but now has 17. Indiana has 11. And Michigan had 16, but now has 15. So it must be people moving out of these states and heading down to Texas and Florida. It seems like it based on the numbers, right? All right, did I get them all, you guys? That wasn't the most exciting thing I've ever done. But anyway, there we go. Yep. Well, so it is interesting, like we are actually voting for electors. And I think in some states, it will say like the name of the candidate, and then in parentheses, it'll say the name of the elector. So you're actually voting for that elector to go cast your vote for you. And I think historically, there have been cases of faithless electors who go and they don't vote the way they promised to. But I think it's pretty rare, and then they never get asked back. And people get mad at them because they are party. They're very long time party people, I think. Like their political party, I mean. Not like party, not like they go out to the club. All that, I don't know. It's like a little boot right there. What else did I learn? Yeah, I had this grand idea of like really digging into it, and I hate to say it, this is embarrassing. I started listening to 2 different podcasts, and I got bored and couldn't pay attention. I was like, I don't know. But yeah, the first we vote on the this is weird, but it's the first Tuesday after the first Monday. And I think it should be like a holiday, like people get off work to make sure they can vote. I don't know why it's not. But I think I heard somewhere a long time ago that has to do with, back in the old days, it was for farmers, because on the very first Tuesday, like on Monday, they'd have to, I don't know, do something with their finances or something. So that wasn't a good day. So they did it. What I forget, there was some reason. It had something to do with like farmers. It's not it's the Tuesday following the first Monday. I mean, it's the same, right? Tuesday following the first Monday. I know it had to do with the first. What was it? Because otherwise it could be like October 1st is the first Tuesday. But they didn't want that, and it had to do with farming. I don't remember what. So it's the Tuesday following the first Monday. So, and like in some states, you can go work at the polling place, and like I think almost always you get paid for the training, you get paid to go for the day. But it's a long day. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to get into any argument about this at all, but I have done some of that, and there's no funny business going on. Trust me, it's crazy how secure it all is. But you have to be there from like 6 a.m. until like 9 o'clock at night, and you can't leave or anything. It's a long day, and it's almost all old people who are working the polls because, I don't know, younger people don't want to do it or something. So I recommend you do it, especially if you don't trust the system. Go work for the day, because you'll find out, you'll go, oh, it's not a problem. But yeah, you can make like a couple $100. You know what? I think I might do that. They also want poll watchers. They're people, you have to have a certain amount of people like watching the whole thing. But I think that might be voluntary. But maybe I should sign up and go do it. Because I'm youngish. I can stand all day. Somebody said to me in a comment on a video, "You're wasting your time writing with that Sharpie because no one can hear it." I don't know what to say. My mic doesn't pick it up. I mean, I could go like this, but then you can't see it. I don't know. I need a better microphone for that. But the person was pretty rude about it, so I wasn't really worried. I was like, okay, whatever, don't watch. I think I'm in a mood. My gosh. I've voted in every election since I've been 18. I haven't missed. Okay, that's not true. That's not true. I'm lying. Every presidential election. I think for most of my life, I didn't vote in the, what do you call them? The 2-year or the special elections, anything like that. Just because I felt like I didn't know enough. But I've been voting in those mostly, I think all of them since I've been, over 40. Because, now I wanted to vote on school board and stuff like that. I became more interested in that. When I was younger, I was just like, I don't know what's going on there. But during a lot of those elections, you vote for like your school board. You vote for your sheriff and judges, and sometimes they're just, other things to vote on. So, yeah, I would look into them anytime you see one come up. You start seeing the signs on the street, and you're like, what are we voting about now? That's how engaged I am. But then I go find out because there's plenty of information. I mean, you guys know I'm like big on democracy. So I think it's important to vote and to educate yourself and not listen to like everybody telling you what to do. Just go sort it, you know. Think about what you care about. Ugh. I have a neighbor who wants to talk to me about politics, and I don't really want to. But they say stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But I think it's like some news or they must listen to some, I don't know, podcast or something that tells them things. But I swear it's like, I don't even know what they're saying. I'm like, I read a lot. I pay attention. I don't know what you're talking about. So I would say don't get your stuff from one source. Try to look at multiple sources. Or you end up in a loop. A loopy-doop. Oh, I missed. Here we go. Alright, well. I don't know about this video. I don't know if I'll post it. Maybe. So I would add all these up and see if they come to 538. But I'd need a calculator because I'm not that good. But I don't think I missed anything. Anyway. Alright. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Am I going to spell this wrong? I guess I'm worried about that word. I've just set this up so I can take a screenshot for the